Okay, so today we're going deep on the war in Ukraine.
Oh, right.
It's been going on for a while now,
So it
and
has.
it feels like, I don't know, every week there's a new development, some new twist.
Definitely.
And you sent over some articles that really highlight, like, just how complex
Oh,
this
yeah.
whole thing is.
Absolutely. And, what we see playing out in Ukraine right now, it's not just some regional conflict. It has global implications.
Like, for sure.
This is the kind of stuff that can, reshape the whole geopolitical landscape
Yeah.
for years to come.
So, okay, one of the articles we have here, it quotes Justin Trudeau,
Okay.
Canada's Prime Minister, right?
Right.
And he's saying that he thinks there's a chance this war could end
Mm.
in the next few months.
Well, that's certainly an optimistic take.
Yeah, I mean, is he just being hopeful, or is there is there something more to it?
Well, I think to really understand what he's getting at, we need to look at what it would actually take to end this war. What would a resolution even look like? And a big part of that is understanding Ukraine's demands.
Right. Like, what are their terms for peace?
Exactly. And, we can assume those terms probably involve getting back all their territory.
Makes sense.
Right. And then some kind of security guarantees so this doesn't just happen again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is where Trudeau's point about the U.S. becomes really important.
Right, because he's basically saying, even with the elections coming up,
Yeah.
the U.S. can't just back down on their support for Ukraine.
Exactly. And, the article even mentions that the allies, they can't fill the gap if the U.S. pulls back.
Yeah, and with Trump as a possible.
Oh, right.
He might change everything.
It really makes you wonder, right? How would a change in U.S. leadership actually impact all of this?
Oh, definitely, because right now, they're like the biggest supporter militarily.
Absolutely.
Financially.
Right. So any sign of weakness, any wavering, that could embolden Russia.
Yeah.
And this thing could drag on even longer.
It's scary to think about, honestly.
It is. But, it's worth remembering that even under Trump Congress, both sides, they were pretty supportive of Ukraine.
Okay.
So it's not as simple as saying, oh, if Trump gets elected, it's all over.
Right. It's much more complicated.
More nuanced than that.
Okay, so we've got U.S. involvement, we've got Ukraine's demands, but then there's also this whole thing with Olaf Scholz.
Oh, right.
The German Chancellor, he had that call with Putin recently.
He did, yeah.
And the article points out this huge difference in how they see it.
Right.
Scholz is like, oh, this is important, we need to keep talking.
Yeah.
But Zelenskyy, he's totally suspicious. He even called it a Pandora's box.
Yeah, it's a great illustration of how tricky diplomacy gets during a war,
Yeah.
On the one hand, you need dialogue, right?
Right.
If you want any chance of things calming down.
Right, yeah.
But then at the same time, talking to the aggressor, it can make them look like they're in the right, you're legitimizing what they're doing.
Oh, I see. And that undermines,
trust, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Scholz is probably just trying to keep a channel open for negotiations down the line.
Okay.
But Zelenskyy, you can understand why he's so wary.
Totally. Any concession to Putin just feels like a betrayal after everything Ukraine's been through.
All the sacrifices.
It's a tough spot to be in, for sure.
Definitely a delicate balance.
And it really highlights how this isn't just about, abstract politics.
Oh, yeah.
This is about real people making these really tough choices.
With real consequences.
Right. And speaking of real people, I thought it was really interesting how Trudeau just straight up said he doesn't trust Putin.
Yeah, that was pretty striking.
He didn't hold back at all.
It's a good reminder that this isn't just some game,
Right.
This is about real people, real lives.
And it makes you wonder, what does a resolution even look like at this point?
That is the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, and is it even possible anytime soon?
Well, to even begin to answer that, you have to look at everyone involved, not just Trudeau.
Okay.
What's Russia willing to give up? Can Ukraine get what it needs and still be safe in the long run?
Right.
And what about the other big players, like the U.S., China, the EU?
Yeah, it's a lot to consider.
It really is.
You've definitely given me, and I'm sure our listener, a lot to think about.
It's a complex situation, that's for sure.
Definitely not a simple conflict with easy answers.
Well, not at all.
It's this web of politics, military stuff, and then at the heart of it, it's people making choices.
Choices that affect the whole world.
Exactly.
And that's why it's so important to stay informed, to really think critically about what we're hearing.
Oh, yeah?
Because this is far from over, and who knows what the next few months will bring.
Absolutely. Things are changing all the time.
All the time.
Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for breaking all this down with me.
My pleasure. Always happy to chat.
And to our listener, as always, keep digging, keep asking questions, and stay informed.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Until next time.
See you then.